deadly nuclear submarine, which may have been part of a carrier group, arrived in the Middle East almost simultaneously with a carrier group. Although only one missile cruiser and several frigates were officially reported to accompany the carrier group, it may have been part of the carrier group. As a result, President Joseph Biden's administration has sent a message to the Iranian government as well as the Lebanese group Hezbollah, saying that the United States is prepared to intervene militarily if Iran attacks Israel. Almost all Ohio-class nuclear submarines carry three-stage ballistic missiles, the fourth-generation Trident II D5 armed with nuclear warheads. A few of these submarines have been modernized in recent years. These completely different submarines are now the most terrible weapons in the world. The bad guys are aware of the abilities of this submarine class, but there is something they are unaware of yet. So, the U.S. Navy is armed with 18 of the deadliest and most terrible weapons systems that have been invented in the history of humankind. The Ohio submarine is also known as the Boomer in naval slang. Each submarine is estimated to cost taxpayers approximately $1.5 billion in 1980 prices. In addition, several submarines were modernized, which cost an estimated $800 million per unit since they are part of the nuclear triad and are the last argument the U.S. president made for them. The nuclear triad refers to a system for delivering nuclear weapons from land, sea, and air. Now let us talk about the sea. Ohio-class submarines are the basic building blocks of the U.S. strategic offensive nuclear forces because 71% of the planet's surface is water. Each Ohio submarine has a length of approximately 560 feet and a width of about 42 feet. But in the vast ocean of the world, this is a needle in a haystack. At the same time, the Ohio submarines are considered to be the world's fastest and quietest submarines. There is no doubt that the Ohio-class nuclear submarines are capable of entering even freshwater bodies. For example, the Great Lakes or the beds of large rivers. Considering this, becomes very evident why they are so dangerous. According to Ohio's submerged speed, it reaches 29 miles per hour, making it the fastest submarine submerged in the world, going faster underwater than on the surface. Additionally, each of the 18 submarines can hide in ambush anywhere globally, working at 1,200 meters below the surface and constantly changing locations. To defend against other submarines and anti-submarine ships, Ohio-class submarines are armed with Mark 48 torpedoes. However, in most cases, torpedoes are not used against other submarines or anti-submarine ships. The main task of a submarine is to remain undetected. Radios and radar stations warn of acoustic and radar radiation to accomplish this. Jamming and false target detection systems are used in critical situations. While the enemy was trying to sort out the acoustic debris, the submarine reached a depth of 1,800 feet, leaving a dangerous area in a critical state. Except for the USS Henry M. Jackson, all other submarines of the Ohio class were named after American states. The particular submarine that arrived in the Middle East has yet to be discovered, but this is less important. Now it will become clear why they came there. Two turbines on board each submarine spin the propeller shaft, powered by a nuclear reactor called the S-8G PWR. Oxygen and drinking water are produced on board the submarine. Thus, the range of the Ohio submarines is unlimited. Specifically, the range and duration of the voyage are restricted by the availability of food for the crew during the journey. Each Ohio-class submarine has two crews. The first crew consists of 15 officers and 140 enlisted personnel, or petty officers. The Ohio is nothing more than a metal barrel loaded with nuclear weapons when it does not have this crew. While one crew is on combat duty at sea, the other rests on shore. The Ohio-class submarines are therefore constantly on alert 365 days of the year. In other words, if one submarine leaves for food replenishment or a crew change, another will take its place. Thus, Iran and the Lebanese Hezbollah group should not expect that they will be left unattended in the course of crew rotation. Despite this, two Ohio-class submarines may be targeted immediately at some point. In light of the realization that this fact is alarming, the Iranian leaders are reluctant to intervene in the conflict between the Palestinians and the Israelis. There are so many weapons aboard Ohio that one submarine could turn the whole region into a lifeless wasteland. The oldest Ohio-class submarines range 4,600 miles with 24 Trident IC-4 ballistic missiles. Each missile is equipped with multiple warheads with individual guidance units. Accordingly, one Trident IC-4 missile carries 8 nuclear warheads, capable of hitting 8 targets simultaneously. Each nuclear warhead has a yield of 100 kilotons, which is 5 times more powerful than the bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki combined. A missile can be launched at a speed of about 5 knots and waves up to 6 points from a depth of about 100 feet at 15 to 20 second intervals while traveling at a speed of about 5 knots. A rocket is launched from a depth and rises to the surface. Once the missile has emerged from the water, its first stage engine is turned on, which allows it to begin its surface flight. A certain scenario would allow all missiles to be launched simultaneously, but this has never been possible, even during testing in the US Navy. Those who believe that the Ohio submarines are the deadliest weapons in the world due to their Trident II D5 weapons are mistaken. You are wrong, since 4 of the 18 Ohio submarines were equipped with Tomahawk cruise missiles. There are 22 launchers on board Ohio, each with 7 cruise missiles or Tomahawks. Each submarine can carry up to 154 Tomahawk missiles, each with a thermonuclear warhead. The Tomahawk missile is one of the most elusive targets in the world, and there is no electronic warfare system today that can reliably knock this missile off course or find a way to deactivate it. As a matter of fact, one U.S. Ohio-class submarine has more nuclear missiles than most countries in the nuclear club. Is the United States really ready to turn the Middle East into a nuclear waste dump? In my opinion, it is unlikely to happen, as the use of nuclear weapons would give the other members of the nuclear club a free hand. Therefore, this sort of escalation would not be beneficial to anyone. In reality, Tomahawk missiles are capable of being equipped with conventional warheads for special fortified targets, or with Blue 97B combined action bombs for special fortified targets. With the help of the Blue 97B Tomahawks, become cluster bombs capable of being used over large areas that have a variety of unfortified targets, as was the case with Iraq. The Ohio-class submarines have also been upgraded for delivering uncrewed aerial vehicles, special forces, and marine reconnaissance teams. During this scenario, the launchers are converted into airlocks used as dry docking chambers for small vehicles. Inflatable rubber rafts designed to accommodate one vehicle can accommodate up to 60 to 100 combat swimmers in the hangar. However, Israel and on board the American aircraft carriers that have arrived in the Middle East have more than enough aircraft to suppress all pro-Iranian military groups within the region. There are no requirements for Ohio's participation here. However, the landing option is the most feasible. A landing by special troops is a better alternative than a large-scale ground campaign. For instance, the US might be able to conduct a short operation to neutralize Hezbollah militias that are harassing Israel. Another option would be to counteract pirate attacks. After the seizure of a civilian ship in the southern part of the Red Sea, the Houthis also came into contact with American special forces. Additionally, Iranian naval forces also engage in piracy, seizing other people's oil tankers under various far-fetched pretexts in addition to piracy in the region. In a nutshell, we can expect that Ohio-class submarines with paratroopers on board will begin restoring order along the coast, and American aircraft carriers will take control of the sea area. As soon as the police mission has been completed, American submarines and ships will remain in the Middle East for a long time, and Iran will likely be very uncomfortable developing its nuclear weaponry. It is how large political systems work. So far, Ohio-class submarines are the only strategic missile-carrying submarines in the American fleet. Despite their age, they remain unmatched. Neither Russia nor China possess such submarines. It's also worth mentioning that the United States is currently developing submarines of the Columbia class, which will gradually replace all of its Ohios. Rear Admiral Scott Pappano recently reported that about 40% of the hull and mechanisms for the first Columbia are ready for sea trials. The U.S. Strategic Command requires that the submarine force be operationally ready with at least 10 ballistic missile submarines in case of an outbreak of nuclear war. Therefore, the Ohio-class submarines will remain underwater for the next 10 years. As a result, the U.S. Navy Command is constantly modernizing and extending the service life of current operational submarines. We are undergoing a modernization program for each Ohio-class submarine that takes 18 months. As part of the modernization process, the submarines are also being re-equipped. We may see underwater-launched hypersonic missiles on these submarines, and the United States will finally achieve parity with Russia in hypersonic weapons. This, however, is a topic for another video. It is great to have you here. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you like it.